What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior, the sequel to the original Mad Max movie. This movie continues the story of Max as he wanders the wasteland. This movie is once again directed by George Miller and also co-written by George Miller. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's talk right into this because I love The Road Warrior. I think this is what the first Mad Max movie should have been. It's high octane, it's balls to the wall, it's nonstop thrills. From the moment this movie starts, you are already immediately thrust into a high-speed chase with Max running away from a gang of marauders who are the villains in this movie, led by the Lord Humongous. And like I said, right off the bat, this movie's already wasting no time. It's going right for that gut punch, and you're already at the edge of your seat. This movie is basically an hour and a half chase scene, and it is so well directed. It's so just brilliantly acted. This movie is The Road Warrior is fantastic. It has minimal use of dialogue, and when it does use dialogue, it uses it the right way, and not just a way for the characters to say things. It actually pushes the movie along. It pushes the plot along, and you also get some good character moments as well too. One of the main things I like about the Road Warrior is that I like what has happened to the character of Max. You know, 3 years have passed. A couple of years have passed since the events of the first movie. So Max is pretty much just a burnout who is wandering the wasteland, just out for himself, trying to survive. Well, all the while, he's trying to fend off a group of bikers. But in so doing so, he kind of hooks up with this other community who are also trying to fend off the bikers. And he's trying to get something out of that community, and the community is trying to get something out of him. And this also opens up Max a little bit as into, getting some more compassion after being pretty much devoid of any compassion once his family died. So I like how Max's character is handled in this movie. Mel Gibson puts on a really good performance. In addition to that, we have the inclusion of Bruce Spence, who plays the character of the Gyro Captain, and he is comedy relief done well. The Gyro Captain is a really good character. I like the banter between him and Max. They got a really good subtle comedy to them without being very noticeable. It's very very subtle, which I can appreciate. Uh, the villains in this movie the villains in this movie are such an upgrade from that first movie. It's unbelievable. The Lord Humongous is a physically imposing, intimidating villain who, once you look at him, you are not going to get the imagery of this man's look out of your mind. He is that physically imposing. He's just that unique looking. Another great character in this movie is his henchman Wes, played by Vernon Wells. And Wes, he's a good villain. I like the character of Wes. I like how this movie actually gives him a little bit of a reason, and you actually get a little bit of sympathy for the character of Wes, but not a lot of sympathy for the character of Wes at the same time. The whole reason why Wes wants to get revenge on Max is because uh, Wes's friend. The movie doesn't flat out say what this character means to Wes. It's implied that the movie kind of implies because what the character really was in the original script is not really stated in the film. So it kind of comes across as Wes and this character called the Golden Youth had a very special relationship. And once the Golden Youth character pretty much dies, the character of Wes is basically out for blood and out for vengeance, and he wants Max, as he feels that Max was the cause of all of it. So I like that Wes has a personal motivation to go against Max and the community, since he holds them responsible for the death of his partner, the Golden Youth. And Vernon Wells just puts on a great, over the top performance. He's vicious, he's menacing, he can be creepy at times, and I like it. It's great stuff. Some of the human characters in the community, they're also pretty cool as well. The character Papagalo, he's a good character. He's a good. I buy him as being a leader and someone who cares for his people. The warrior woman character, she's also pretty good in her own right, and she has a couple of entertaining scenes. And you have other members of this community that are fine as well. You got the feral kid, who is the one who actually killed the Golden Youth. He's a nice there's a good character going on with him. And the movie kind of has the feral kid being attached to Max. Max, having a chance to be a parent in a way, so to speak, without being too overblown with it, which I can appreciate and I like it a lot. So, yeah, this movie has a lot of good character moments, has lots of good acting in it. The story is just out. The story of this movie is Very simple and very basic, and George Miller takes the most out of it, and he makes a high octane thriller of a ride. The action scenes in this movie are so beautifully done, so well directed. They're so edge of your seat. You can't take your eyes off of it. And I can appreciate this movie for having a clear vision and making the most out of that vision, and taking and making that and just building upon that first movie. Visually, this movie is 10 times better than that first movie. It's still, you still got that post-apocalyptic grittiness to it, but you can also tell that's got a little bit more of refinement and polish to it, but it doesn't take away from that original vision George Miller had with that first movie. If anything, the Road Warrior just heightens that vision to another level, and it's just, like I said, it's just intense, it's energetic, it's a thrill ride, great entertaining characters, a simple yet very interesting story, and you have outstanding characters and acting to hold it all together, and brilliant directing by George Miller, and outstanding cinematography to boot, which is why Mad Max The Road Warrior gets a solid perfect 10 for me. This is a superior sequel, and it is what the first Mad Max movie should have been in the first place. So those are my thoughts on Mad Max 2 The Road Warrior. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.